Well, hello again, everybody. This is John Norris at Trading Perspectives. As always, we have our good friends, Sam Clement and Courtney Trush. I'll say hello.
How's it going?
Hey, John.
Hey, guys. Listen, it seems as though we've talked about social media quite a bit on this podcast, Trading Perspectives, and for good reason. It really does dominate a huge chunk of a lot of people's lives, and it's really primary means of exchanging information amongst certain generations and all of that stuff. So it's important that we kind of uncover the stories or look underneath the rocks or all of that type of stuff. And, the thing that just keeps on hitting the headlines right now is whether or not the U.S. government should outlaw or otherwise ban TikTok, right?
Yep.
I've seen a number of headlines on this. TikTok being run by a Chinese firm and all that stuff. Got some people in Washington, some people, maybe conspiracy theorists. I don't know if conspiracy theorists or not, but believe that TikTok is being used by Beijing in order to find out secrets and spy on Americans. Sam, what are your thoughts on that?
I think there's definitely valid fears at a minimum around it. We've talked before, we talked about it really last week, the kind of buildup of tension between the U.S. and China and to have, somewhat direct access, I guess that may be argued, but to data, whether it's search histories, whether it's facial recognition, what have you, it's a lot of stuff that I think when you're talking about really kind of our arch nemesis now, having all that data, it doesn't make you feel too good.
So they're using the app to take other data from your phone and use it for internal internet or intelligence.
They are more than welcome to take all the information from my crossword puzzle games, from
but it would be like your
word
contacts,
scramble.
right?
Yeah, but I'm not connected with anyone in the Pentagon or, with a spy agency or anything like that. What are they going to get? They're going to get your contact information, Sam, and I think, Courtney, even you are in my contact information just by the fact that you're a coworker of mine.
Right. Well, and I was looking at an article from Forbes that was saying that India banned back in 2020 TikTok, stating that they felt they were concerned about the apps potentially being able to send information back on Indian users, I guess.
And I don't know exactly what the Chinese are looking at me, but in any event.
Are you active on TikTok?
Yeah, have you not seen my shuffle dancing?
Right, like TikTok to me, I'm like, it's not a means of, it might be playing on people's ignorance of like, look at them.
Do you call me ignorant?
No, I'm just saying, like, people
Yeah,
who.
you should just call me an ignorant.
Well, people make a good bit of money on, I guess, TikTok and on these viral videos of like.
Without a doubt. That last one when I was doing the shuffle dancing in front of the Vulcan here in Birmingham. I think you commented on that.
Thousands of Googles are going to happen now.
Unbelievable the amount of attention that got. The number of a lot of likes, but a lot of hatred in the comments as well. Courtney, I'm not active on TikTok. My children show me TikTok, and it seems to be 30-second little vignettes of people being very silly, and maybe that's just what my children wanted me to see. But for all intents and purposes, it doesn't seem to be any real value add for me over anything that I might do on Instagram.
Right.
What's interesting, I've learned a lot of people use it for is kind of crowdsourcing ideas and answers to questions. And there was even, I think it was a Super Bowl ad, TikTok that put out an advertisement talking about people just searching for anything, whether it's how to make this kind of recipe or hacks to do something. And
it wasn't a big massive hypno disc that just said share your banking information with us.
But do either one of you think that TikTok is a reliable source for any type of like Google search? Like, would you think it's credible?
Well, I think what I'm talking about is like things that you don't necessarily need credibility for, whether it's a recipe or some hack to do something easier.
I want a credible recipe. Lord knows. Come on. You're talking about like security clearance and all that stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Sure. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Courtney, do you use TikTok?
I do not.
Sam, do you use TikTok?
I've never downloaded it.
So here we are, 39 users of TikTok, talking about TikTok, and what are we talking about is whether or not the First Amendment in the United States supersedes the government's willingness or ability to outlaw something like TikTok.
I think there's a good bit of history showing that national security
yeah.
can outweigh the First Amendment, backed by the Supreme Court, mostly around wartime issues, which kind of begs the question,
Well,
like we talked about last week.
Well, can the government make a coherent argument that the Chinese are actively using TikTok in order to steal secrets of national importance?
You know, maybe not, but even if the answer is no, which I'm not an expert enough to comment on that, I mean, there's pushes to not allow Chinese, nationalists to own property here. So allowing Chinese companies to have significant amounts of data, which seems to be ever so more important, is definitely a red flag to me.
Well, and I do think in this day and age, you would have to have maybe not concrete evidence, but something substantial to make the general public support, a ban like this. Obviously,
Sort of
But
like
it-
weapons of mass destruction
but
and mass save lives, that type of stuff.
It's already banned though.
that was a one.
It's already largely banned on. I mean, government devices can't have it. I mean, state
So-
devices can't have
And we're
it.
coming up on that, I guess, 30 days in which the White House gave federal agencies 30 days to remove TikTok from all phones and systems associated with their.
Yeah, I mean,
Job.
so there's confidence enough that the government devices shouldn't have it. So what's the delineation between who it's safe to have it for and who it's not? If there's concerns that they're going to be able to get data off.
Well, the thing about it, the reason I'm bringing this up is just the mere possibility, the maybe that you said, maybe not, I don't know. Is that strong enough? Is that a strong enough argument where we should give up some of the rights protected in the Bill of Rights?
I don't know if it's necessarily giving up the right of free speech, though. I mean,
Essentially, do you have the right to have TikTok on your phone through the First Amendment?
does the Chinese government have the right to take data off people's devices?
According
To me, that's the bigger
it's-
focus,
well-
because if this was a separate, if it's not the app itself.
Right. It's the lack of ability for the U.S. government to control the app's ability to steal information.
Well, then let me ask you this one. If we're worried about TikTok, being Chinese, should we be worried about Facebook
Yes.
and Instagram, although they're nominally American companies? Maybe the U.S. government can go through those apps and spy on us just like the Chinese are doing through
Well, I
TikTok.
think that had, I mean, that goes
That's
back
established?
To, that goes, yeah, I mean, that's largely established, but I think that's the kind of the delineation between the two is, I guess if you're here and you're an American, it's more okay, I guess, for us to do it than it is for a foreign government.
But I think that there are people.
Ooh, that's a slippery slope.
It is a
right there.
slippery slope, and it's all for the right. It's all about national security.
Patriot Act.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think it goes fundamentally, if you're going to have apps that the government would be concerned about, regardless of it being from China, Russia, India, whatever country. then-
Throwing the Indians in with the Russians
sorry,
and the Chinese?
yeah, sorry. Not
Ouch.
Indians
Oh,
are
my
fine.
goodness.
I didn't mean to.
Nobody's not going.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
sorry.
take you to Taj later on.
But I do think that it's more of, are we creating an environment in which our constituents are safe from that being
that's the
happening?
problem is we don't
Can't-
have the ability to regulate the data. I mean, with Facebook,
But
there's
surely you can regulate or
How do you
prevent
regulate?
them from pulling other information. Like, they should only be able to have that app, and it really shouldn't be pulling anything off your phone.
But if that's the case, then why is it banned on government devices?
Exactly, because obviously it can do something more damaging.
Right. So ban it.
or prevent that from happening.
But then again, Instagram can do the same thing.
But we have the ability to regulate that data a little bit more than we do once it gets
But
to
in
things like that.
regulating data,
Regulating safety of data, regulating who it's sold
Internally, by the
to.
United
this all
States.
sounds very subjective, Sam.
There's always going to be some
It
subjective
sounds
nature to
very subjective. My goodness. Courtney, what are your thoughts? Do you want Uncle Sam telling you what you can and cannot watch? And that's essentially the core of this argument. Do you want Washington telling you this is okay for you to read, or this is okay for you to watch? This other stuff over here isn't.
I am not okay with big government. I don't want a big government. But
You got one.
at the same time, I do think that look at the root cause. I don't need the government to police what I can and can't watch. I don't need them. I mean, you look at there should be some oversight, and we should be working on our technology to prevent such hacks or ability to get that information, because we all know it doesn't matter if they ban TikTok. There'll be another app and another app and another app that will all do the same thing. So you're chasing your tail instead of addressing the root cause of the problem, which is the fact that they're able to create an app in which they're stealing information from people's devices. I mean, I get that it might not be officially stealing, but they're pulling other information.
There's clearly enough concern. I mean, that's not up for
Right.
debate. If
Which
they're going
we
to ban it
know-
on some devices,
Yeah, and if there is, then there's obviously information that they have that they shouldn't have. And they're tying it back to this app being on somebody's phone.
What is confusing to me, this all sounds very nefarious and very sort of Jetsons, kind of like space age type stuff. Let's say there's all the information from my phone. I don't have TikTok. But let's say all the information from my phone is out there in the ether somewhere and going to some server in Beijing. Who's going to do it? I mean, with all that information, all those data points, what size server must they have? And then also, how do they filter stuff out?
Must be like keywords,
and
right?
that's kind of the issue. How do they source through all the data from potentially hundreds of millions of people?
I'm sure
AI.
they have an algorithm.
AI.
Y'all are throwing terms out that I don't understand. All your
Big robot computers.
big robot.
Sentient
That sounds
computers.
kind of scary. I don't like big
It's scary.
sentient robot computers.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, what if we? This is such like a conspiracy theory type podcast today. But what if we were to purposely feed them inaccurate information?
Well, I mean, you can, right? Do you have an Alexa at the house?
Yes.
All you need to do is just sit there and say whatever you want. Talk crazy stuff. Say John Norris should be in Hollywood, and just make sure that other people say that stuff. And the next thing you know, I'm getting a call
get a
from an agent.
contract,
That'd
yeah.
be fantastic.
Yeah.
So you can do that. You can force feed them bad information. I can sit there and say Courtney Truss has been laundering money.
Thanks a lot, John. Put that out there.
I've heard it.
Y'all are the worst.
AKA the kiter. Courtney Truss.
I mean, but I think all of this and the data part that's scary to me is the ability to destabilize countries. I mean, data and social media, and we've talked about it, how the increase in overall dissatisfaction
And I would say that's a bigger threat than actually the people at TikTok stealing some of my passwords.
I don't think, I think it's the ability to control what is shown to people, what is put out there, what is regulated, what is taken off of it. I mean, you can really, it's been shown for 5, 6, 10 years, really, maybe even, that social media has the ability to change public perception.
Well, back when I had a Twitter account, I've got rid of my Twitter account. That's part of the reason why I got off of it, is exactly what you just said. I would type something out that would be, to me, pretty straightforward. Because that's the way I am, Courtney, very black and white.
Yes.
And I would put something out, and within 5 seconds, there'd already be a nasty reply.
Yeah.
There's no way with the number of people who were following me, which was in the tens of people.
Of thousands.
Yeah, tens upon tens of people following me, that anyone could have gotten that, read it, processed it, and then sent a retweet or reply to it. So there had to have been some bot or some sort of technology that was out there floating
There's tons of
around
them.
that just absolutely picked it up, and that's what I think is the bigger issue, that creation or that engendering of discord and misinformation in the U.S. economy. And I don't think we necessarily have to look at just for TikTok. We can look at all the social media platforms.
But I also don't know how much the American people would be comfortable, and they really shouldn't be comfortable with the government using national security in this way to ban your access to certain things.
And that's what I
it
think is a
seems
slippery slope.
It is. And
Like-
then you think, okay, well, we're a democracy, right? Not
Sort of,
okay, well,
Republic.
yeah.
but then you also look at like shows like The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm like, it is a slippery slope of the government saying, well, this is for national security. We need to do this. This is for your best interest. And then you start questioning. I mean, just like to Sam's point, well, it's okay when we do it. It's okay that we're doing exactly what China's doing on Instagram and Facebook, but it's not okay for China to do it on us. But then how much is it okay until it's not okay, and then it's too far gone?
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts.
I mean,
That's the issue here. I mean, at what point does Big Brother take over the dissemination of thought in the United States?
well, I think unfortunately we're past the point of a libertarian dream of not having the government step in, and I think it's more so a matter of who do you want controlling it right now.
Is
I mean, we are
there
not-
any real difference between the political parties in that regard?
And I don't mean the political parties. I more mean the national. Who do you want
And the
control? Who do
CIA,
you, well,
FBI,
no,
those
the Chinese. Who do you want controlling the narrative of U.S. politics? Do you want, Russia and China to be controlling the narrative, or do you want that to have that part of it to at least be protected from our own problems? I mean,
But is
it's
it
like
being
the
protected
it's like
by
the art of war,
non-partisan?
talking about the best way to subdue your enemy is to do it without fighting. I mean, to
Yeah.
watch them crumble from the inside, which other countries have right or wrong already pointed out that we're doing with the lack of focus on what's already should be important with national security. I mean, I think the countries. I've said it before. I think we're the military superpower of the world. To me, that's inarguable still. So these countries lesser than, they got to be loving it, seeing us tear ourselves apart from the inside. They don't have to go up against the U.S. military.
I agree
Do
with
it
you.
through social media. Watch us tear each other apart and crumble from the inside like the Romans.
I mean, literally, too, like people have more mental health issues than they've ever had before, so they really are being.
Well, I was mental before all this happened. I mean, as you well know, Courtney.
Yeah.
so it's still. I mean, I'm not sure if I can answer that own question in my head. Whether or not I can grasp the censorship aspect of it. And you can make an argument to me all day long about Russia and China and all of it. And I don't know. I still feel uncomfortable with Washington or whatever the powers that be saying, no, you can't use this or you can't use that, what have you, because just like what they did back in the 1930s with the Interstate Commerce Commission, you can very easily say, oh, it's national defense, it's national defense. And just because something's in the national defense, I would say doesn't always make it right. The internment of Japanese Americans, was
Right,
was
there's bad examples of
bad,
national.
horrible examples of it and all that stuff. And so even the discussion about the weapons of mass destruction, I mean, it just sent a lot of people over there to die, and the situation still kind of sucks over the Middle East.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a slippery slope for me, and that might be part of the generational thing. I don't know.
I do think it is. I mean, it's definitely a slippery slope, but and what I get to is kind of what's the lesser of the two evils.
And the
to
thing
me,
is,
which-
I think it cuts a little closer to home to you because you're of an age where you could be
no,
given a rifle.
I have bone spurs, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like
on
a
flat feet.
present. Yeah,
Okay, so I have a question for
eye
y'all.
blindness.
I don't know how accurate this is. It was just a quick Google search, but
It's from the South China Morning Post.
right, yes. What do you think the largest, or just in general, What do you think the percentage of certain age brackets, like what do you think the largest age bracket would be of TikTok users?
18 to 24.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what the age brackets are.
That's usually a pretty standard one.
Okay, like they had 10 to 9, I don't know what 10-year-old is on TikTok, but 10 to 19-year-old, and then it means 10-year-old.
That would probably be the biggest then.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
say either that or the next one.
Yeah.
The younger, the better.
Yes, I would agree. But don't you feel like people?
Well, what's the answer?
Oh yeah, no, you're correct. It's 25% of users are the age of 10 to 19. A little under 25 is the 20 to 29-year-old. 30 to 39 is like 22%.
That's where you fall in.
Yes, thank you, John. Your age group, 50 plus, is only 12%.
Why'd you go there?
Because you went there. I'm just meeting you. 40 to 49 is right at 20%. So I think what's interesting in that is where people most establish where you would be in a higher paid job in which you would have maybe more secretive information. Probably closer to John's age bracket.
Again, I'm less concerned about the.
So that's what we should do.
Ban it for the old people.
Ban it for old people.
18 to 30 is the
All of a
only
sudden,
age
I'm
you
not
can
getting any reels with shuffle dancers. And I keep on bringing up
Shuffle
shuffle dancers. It's not like
I don't even know what that
Oh,
is.
come on. I mean, is it just me or this? I get these reels and these feeds from TikTok coming through my Instagram with just people doing this stupid dance. And I can't help it. And the problem
How
with it
things
is,
go viral, John.
the problem with it is, I hate it so much, I click on it just to see how ridiculous it is. And the more I click on
you
it,
love this.
Yeah, then you see more and more of it. That's right.
so just like,
What do you think?
when I first got on Instagram, I didn't understand the way it worked, and I get all these feeds from this one particular state in India, and just all these pictures of these dudes standing by their mopeds and their motorcycles. And I'm clicking on it going like, why are they sending me this stuff? And then I sent out a text to someone going, anyone else have a problem with their Instagram?
And it's like an
feeds?"
algorithm that now it's like
We don't get it, but he loves this. Punjabi region of.
This white guy in his 50s in central Alabama just loves looking at pictures of Indian dudes and their motorcycles. And then finally I just said, I'm not going to, I can't abide by this any longer. And I actually didn't go on Instagram for a couple of days because I didn't want to be bombarded with this stuff. And surely enough, came back. I no longer have
Reset.
pictures. I reset. I no longer have pictures of Indian dudes and it's coming through my Instagram.
felt like we've really gone down a rabbit hole here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sounds
another
like a good-
question.
Yeah.
What do you think based off of male or female, and we're just gonna, those are the only categories, male or female, there's no in
What
between.
would the other one be?
I'm just saying, male or female. Who do you think has the
Female.
higher,
Yeah, fine. I'd say
By a
60
wide
something
margin.
percent.
really?
65,
Why would y'all
70%.
think that?
Kim, I don't know.
Am I wrong?
What's the answer?
Well, I just want to know why you think that.
No, I want to know if I'm right.
Yeah. I wanna know.
57% of users are female.
Okay, there you go. I said 60%.
Now I would like to know why you think that.
Because it was right.
Yeah.
I knew that would be the answer.
The only,
I will tell you the reason why, and we use my own children as an example. John has an Instagram account, all that stuff. He almost never posts anything.
really,
Annie has an Instagram account, and she's out there posting a ton of stuff. So I just see the way that those two consume social media, just in general, and I'm just like going, okay, well, that's how they do it. I'm only going to assume that's kind of more of a gender thing.
Extrapolating out from
extrapolating
anecdotal
that
evidence.
stuff out.
yeah.
And Beth posts a lot more on Instagram than I do. I think I've posted 12 times over 6 years. And it's one picture of this dude with a motorcycle. That absolutely nothing.
Other than that.
Other than that, well, and it was also interesting. It said almost 90% of Saudi Arabian adults use TikTok. 90%.
So that's okay. The Saudis and the Chinese are
buddy too.
Yeah, they're thick as thieves.
So maybe they bought in.
Yeah.
There's also regional differences with social media use. I mean, WhatsApp is big in China and Europe. I mean, it's text messages
Yeah.
are barely used in Europe. They just use WhatsApp, which I can't get a good explanation of why. But
What's the
Wasn't
real
it-
difference?
Well, WhatsApp uses internet, doesn't it? It's like
yeah, so
it's
does
web-based.
iMessage.
Well, yeah, but iMessage you can actually pay
Well,
data.
They say WhatsApp is for casual and texting is more formal to them, almost like an email would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So you would say like,
I find
"Hello,
them
Mr. Clement."
completely interchangeable.
Yeah, I do. I don't use WhatsApp.
No, I only use it if I know someone's going to be overseas. Like, I think I might have
Yep.
sent Courtney.
He did. He was like, "How's the Queen?"
Yeah.
I was in London.
And I'm sure she would. This is creepy.
Well, no, because I use it with my family who's international. So
So you now consider Krista to be international?
I do.
Yeah.
I do consider her to be international when she's in the UK.
Does that make her a foreigner?
But you know, she was the first adopter of TikTok, and still has it. And I don't know that they are looking to ban it in the UK.
I think they are.
They are, so it's everybody.
Should be. I'm very pro banning it. One
I
for
think
the
it surprises me because I feel like you are not supporting, like you normally don't support like big government, and you know it's a slippery slope, but yet you think it's okay for the government to say, Sam, you can't do this.
yeah,
You're okay with that?
yeah.
That's
Banning
the
All right,
TikTok.
we'll find a job for you at the Ministry of Truth, I think.
Up in
Exactly.
Canada,
Yeah.
It's Oceania.
Justin.
Yeah, something like that. Well,
I
God,
just think it's brain rot, and I think it's dangerous, and I think the consequences are. I mean, people talked about election meddling in 2016, which I think a lot of that was largely bogus, but I think it is something that is going to continue to get worse. Is outside foreign meddling.
and I think
Yeah.
you've talked about it. You know, we tax a lot of other stuff and make it look real unattractive, like all that stuff. How is this really going to be any different than prohibition of cigarette smoking or or alcohol or something along those lines? When
So
this,
what, you would pay a fee to use TikTok?
I don't think that's a bad idea. Instead of banning it outright, all of a sudden, you know, TikTok users have to pay a $10 a month fee. Guess what number of subscribers they would have? They'd be leaving in droves.
I mean, there's lots of countries that don't allow foreign citizens to buy land or buy property in that country. I think we've talked about that, or a lot of House of Representatives have talked about that, and I think protecting to at least the lesser of the evils, I think, is something that is increasingly more important for.
One of
for
my
our-
feeds on Instagram is cheap houses in Europe. So I get these things. I have half a mind to sell my house in Mentone and go buy that cozy little cottage over in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
I like
awesome. Yeah, I like it too. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for listening. We always love to hear from you all. So if you have any comments or questions, please, by all means, let us know. As always, you can reach us at Trading Perspectives at Oakworth.com, or you can leave us a review on the podcast outlet of your choice. Also, if you're interested in reading more, hearing more of what we have to say or how we think, please, by all means, go to Oakworth.com. Look underneath the Thought Leadership tab for all kinds of exciting information. Guys, y'all have anything else to say on this topic?
That's all I got.
John, the one thing I will say is that I would love
As a
for,
rhetorical question.
well, for once, I'm actually
All
going
right,
to
there
say
you go.
something. I think that what would be awesome is if we do charge users $10 or however much a month, that money go towards research and hiring people to create something that protects American citizens from those outside entities that doesn't require a ban but can protect.
Like,
The actual-
like, the,
And you know
like the
what?
CIA and, all-
And the
foreign intelligence.
research that they would come up with is you need to charge $15 a month. So there you go. All right, Courtney, do you have anything else to
That's
say?
it, John.
That's all I've got to do too. Y'all take care.